Welcome to this Monday, November 27, 2023 special board meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Sequoia Union High School District. The meeting is hereby called to order. Our first order of business tonight, Trustee Amy Koo is using one of her remote days allowed under recent changes to the California regulations because of a family emergency / healthcare related issue. So the first thing I need is I move that we allow Trustee Koo to participate via Zoom. Do I have a second? Second by Carrie. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Do I need to say aye too?
I don't know. Actually, I think we need to do is a roll call vote because she's remote. So if you could do a roll call vote on this, and then we'll do the a roll call after that.
Trustee Nori,
Yes.
Trustee Koo,
Yes.
Trustee DeBoer,
Yes.
Vice President Stevenson. Vice President Stevenson is absent. President Ginn,
Yes,
quorum is present.
thank you. And for the record, should Trustee Koo not be permitted to vote on the item of her participation, let's just have it as abstained. Whichever. Amy, are you okay if the rules say that you should abstain on that vote? Since we haven't done this before, I'm not sure whether you vote or abstain on your own participation.
Oh, okay. I'm fine with abstaining.
So whichever way is the correct way. Thank you. Okay, so next we have roll call. I think we've already done that, and we know Trustee Stevenson is absent. Okay, so next is approval of agenda. Do I have any comments or questions about the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move
I
to,
move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Trustee Koo and a second by Trustee Dubois. All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye. Or do we have to do roll call vote for everything?
Right.
Because I'm
Roll call
remote.
vote on approval of agenda.
Trustee Nori,
Yes.
Trustee Koo,
Yes.
Trustee DeBoer,
Yes.
President Ginn.
Yes. Thank
Motion
you.
passed.
Thank you. Okay, so we've now approved the agenda. The next item is approval of the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda may not be discussed unless they are pulled. Members of the public may comment about about consent agenda items. And then members of the board or the superintendent may choose to pull any item from the consent agenda. Do we have anybody in the public wishing to comment on the consent agenda? I'm looking to see if there's anyone in Zoom. No one's on. No hands. Okay, having no comment on the consent agenda, would any board member or superintendent like to pull any items from the consent agenda?
No.
Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion passed. I'm sorry. Trustee Nori,
Yes.
Trustee Koo,
Yes.
Trustee DeBoer,
Yes.
President Ginn.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, thank you. So next we have our action item for the evening, approval of the 2023-2024 and 2024-2025 tentative agreement with the American Federation of State, Local, County, and Municipal Employees, also known as AFSCME, Local 829, and the Office Technical and Paraprofessional O, TNP, and Maintenance and Operations M&O units and supervisors, Sequoia District Teachers Association, also known as the SDTA, and certificated and classified management, confidential and unrepresented employees. Do you wish to say anything about this? Todd, you want to say? Perfect.
Sure, thank you. Well, good evening, President Ginn, Superintendent Leach, and our board members. I just want to say this has definitely been a labor of love in that truly we have some great partners that we work with. As you can see, there are technically 4 different groups that we had worked with in somewhat of a short period of time. We did start with SDTA first in May of this past year with ASME the beginning of this year. ASME supervisors fairly recently in terms of actual negotiations. In the end, I think it was really good groups to work with. I think we came out with a very reasonable TAs that reflect the needs of the district and of our labor partners, as well as also assist our students, some of the services we're being able to provide for them. In all, again, we provided copies of the TAs for each of the groups. The only ones we don't necessarily negotiate with are going to be with the management confidential employees. They are non-represented employees. The only ones that we will eventually have to come back with at some point is going to be with our adult education union. Interesting part about them, they only have 1 paying member. Reason why we haven't brought them forward is because we don't know who's on their executive board, president, anybody like that. I think they have to go outside of their group. So that one we'll see and how that's going to work out. But in all reality, the rest of the groups, I think there's a lot of benefits, as I mentioned, for each side. Some of the language, we did a lot of cleanup. There's a few parts in the ASME supervisor language that was missing that we need to provide within our contracts. For example, there's things related in the supervisor's contract that we had to switch over from the CalPERS language for benefits to CISC. That wasn't done previously. We did that. There are other language related to other leaves that go with domestic violence victims and other sections such as overall with SETA and with ASME, looking at ways to benefit our parents and students when it comes down to bilingual resources and looking at how we can ensure that our staff members that are providing those services are also vetted and tested appropriately. So we know that we're getting appropriate translations for our students in a number of different areas and for our parents. So I think it's, again, overall, this was a great group to work with, all 3 groups. So I do appreciate Edith, who's here. So her and her members that we were able to work with, as well as with Renee and her team, and as well as with our ASME supervisors.
Okay, thank you. Does any board member have any questions or comments? Okay, thanks so much. Do I have a motion to approve our action item number 6?
So moved.
A second?
Okay, before we vote, is there any public comment on this item? Okay. Having no public comment, we now call for roll call.
Trustee Nori,
Yes.
Trustee Ku,
Yes.
Trustee DeBois,
Yes.
President Ginn.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our agenda for this evening. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call vote for adjournment, please.
Trustee Nori,
Yes.
Trustee Ku,
Yes.
Trustee DeBois,
Yes.
President Ginn.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. Meeting's adjourned. Good night.